Peugeot has reinvented its 7-seat 5008 SUV in this third generation form. Thanks to the new STLA platform, there's now a full EV version and a plug-in hybrid, plus the cabin's been completely redesigned and pushed up market. Family transport just got upgraded.
You wouldn't call this third generation 5008 pretty, but it looks quite futuristic. Perhaps more the kind of car the current 3008 would have been if Peugeot hadn't decided to make that model a coupe-style SUV. So, will it be as avant-garde inside? Well, yes. Behind the wheel, it certainly feels like a car designed in the new electric era. The up-front cabin space replicating the 3008 design, which means it's unusual and different with a high dual-level centre console and an upper floating 21-inch panoramic screen pod that not only seamlessly combines the instrument and infotainment displays, but is also slightly raised so that it can act as a head-up display as well. Behind it is this elegant concave aluminium panel onto which shades from the ambient lighting system are projected. It's all very high-end and unusually designed. There's a vast swathe of sustainably sourced fascia fabric flowing from the dash into the doors. The door switchgear panels angle down while the centre console spine angles up and has hidden storage in its lower section. Perhaps most notably, Peugeot has persisted with an evolved version of the previous model's so-called I-cockpit front-of-cabin layout. This sees use of a tiny steering wheel, here redesigned, over the top of which, rather than through the spokes of which, you're expected to view the instruments. Don't worry, you'll get used to it. To start with, you'll probably keep reaching down to find the E-toggle gear selector, but to no avail because it's been reduced in size and relocated to an almost vertical van-like position next to the start button on the fascia. You control many of the infotainment display's functions via this row of virtual eye-toggle switches on this narrow, smaller screen below the centre vents. Swipe across its surface and you'll find there are 10 different shortcut options, twice as many as with the old car. Enough on screens, what else might you need to know? Well, the redesigned dynamic seats are much more supportive than the chairs in the previous generation model, though you don't get lumbar adjustment unless you stretch to this top GT trim. You sit quite high. Build quality is good, the materials used feel classy, and despite the avant-garde design, the ergonomics are fine. What about cabin storage? Well, Peugeot says there are up to 17 storage spaces with an overall volume of nearly 34 litres. But practicality will be a key requirement for 5008 customers, so let's take a look in the second row. Some customers may be disappointed to find that the 3 individual second-row seats of the previous generation model have been replaced by a different configuration. This one lacks the old individual ISOFIX points, but offers 2 larger, more comfortable outer seats, flanking a narrow one in the middle that does without the child seat mount. Still, the bench base slides by up to 150mm and the backrest reclines, and even before you start fiddling with this, there's plenty of head and leg room. You also sit a little higher than you do at the front, which gives a better view out and might prevent car sickness. The third row isn't too difficult to get to. You just pull up these latches on the seat shoulder. And once you're inside, thanks to this Mark III model's extra 60mm of wheelbase length, accommodation is a little more spacious than it was with the previous generation model, though it's still clearly primarily intended for kids. We'll finish with a look at boot space, which impressively is the same regardless of drivetrain choice. With the third row in place, there's 348 litres of boot capacity. There's a light on the left and a deep stowage well beneath this luggage board. Pull these lower black tabs to fold the rearmost seats down, and the revealed completely flat area is 916 litres in size. There's 2,232 litres of space with the second row folded too. We'd suggest you start your search for a 5008 with a hybrid 136 variant you can't plug in. That self-charging hybrid powertrain can operate more than 50% of the time in zero-emission all-electric mode during low-speed urban cruising. offering improved fuel economy of up to 15% over the old PureTech 130 model for fewer trips to the pumps and a significant reduction in CO2. The actual 5008 hybrid 136e DSC 6 figures are up to 52.5 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 122 grams per kilometre of CO2. Thanks to the CO2 reduction, the hybrid powertrain has a reduced rate of vehicle excise duty and a lower rate of benefit-in-kind tax for company car drivers, 30% compared to 34% for the old-shape model's blue HDI 130 diesel unit. But of course, that's nothing like as good a tax return as you get from the plug-in 5008 models Peugeot really wants to sell you. The plug-in hybrid 195 variant will go up to 55 miles on a charge, and as a result, there's a CO2 return rated at up to 18 grams per kilometre. The combined cycle fuel returns rated at up to 356.2 mpg, though in reality what you'll actually get won't be that much different to the frugality of the previous generation diesel. The plug-in hybrid needs 5 hours and 30 minutes for a full charge using a 3.7 kilowatt supply and gets a 60-litre fuel tank that's 5 litres bigger than the hybrid. On to E5008 charging. Well, a little surprisingly, the STLA medium platform hasn't been engineered with the 800-volt architecture that would enable use of the latest breed of ultra-rapid DC public chargers. But with its 400-volt system, the E5008 can DC charge at up to 160 kilowatts, which for the 73 kilowatt-hour standard model allows for 20 to 80% charge in 30 minutes, with a charging rate of 2.4 kilowatt-hours per minute at its peak, at which point 62 miles of range are added every 10 minutes. It'll be 27 minutes for a 20 to 80% DC charge of the long-range model's 97 kilowatt-hour battery. As for AC charging from home, well, for this standard 73 kilowatt-hour model, Peugeot quotes battery replenishment time of 4 hours, 30 minutes for a 20 to 80% charge with a 3-phase 11 kilowatt supply. For a full charge using a single phase supply and a 7.4 kilowatt wall box, you're looking at 11 hours and 45 minutes. That rises to 14 hours and 45 minutes for a full 7.4 kilowatt charge of the 97 kilowatt hour long range model, with an hour longer needed for the dual motor all-wheel drive version. If you like Peugeot's 3008 but need more cabin space, this 5008 continues to be a logical step up with sophisticated, luxurious packaging that we think many potential customers will like. The cabin feels more avant-garde than anything else in the segment, and the E5008 variant was at launch the only 7-seat model in its class. You might not like the divisive cockpit driving position or the fact that you can't have all-wheel drive on the combustion models, but these aren't deal breakers. What matters is that the third generation 5008 feels special in a way that no other car in the segment does, in a way that's uniquely Peugeot.